Hey guys, so today I have swatches of the Zoya Fall 2019 collection. There are 12 polishes altogether here. This is technically called the Sensual collection, but I'm not gonna put that in the title because I'll get demonetized. So 12 polishes here altogether. So my email from Zoya for these say that they'll be available on August 1st, but special pre-order coming next week. And that email was from last week. So it's got to be this week sometime. Let me see if I can find a date for when the pre-order starts or if it's already started. Okay, I couldn't find anything from Zoya, but Phoebe's post says approximately July 24th, which works out because that's tomorrow and that's when this video will go up. So 12 polishes here altogether. I will link the Zoya website down below and I will get into the swatches. So the first polish is called Joss, and for all of these I'm going to read the Zoya description because I butcher trying to describe cream polishes because all I have is color. I can't talk about glitters and I'm not very good at it. So this is described as a soft colonial rose cream. So here is the first coat. Covers really well. I did switch all of these polishes to the Z-Wide brush that Zoya sells separately. I think this is probably the last collection that I'll do that for because I'm not sure that I have a full 12 left. I guess if there's a 6-piece collection, I'll probably switch that out. But you won't see too much more of these because I don't intend on buying any. So really good formula on this one. So this one does cover completely in 2 coats. It was really close in 1 coat initially, but as it dried it got a little bit streakier. And hopefully you can tell that this also seems to dry just a little bit darker than it is when it's wet. So that is 2 coats of Joss. The next polish is called Kinsley, and Zoya describes this as a blush-toned caramel cream. So this one also covers really well on the first coat. I am assuming that it's going to be a little bit more sheer and some streaks will show up after it's fully dry, since that's what the last one did. And really good formula on this one as well. So this one does cover completely in 2 coats. I actually didn't notice a lot of streaks or lighter spots that weren't there already on the first coat after it dried like I was expecting. And hopefully you can see this one also, it dries just a little bit darker than it applies. I think you're going to see that across most of this collection. And it does dry shiny as well. So that is 2 coats of Kinsley. So the next polish is called Foster, and Zoya describes this as a decadent hot chocolate cream with pink undertones. So this one is a little bit more sheer than the last ones. It has a little bit more of a jelly property to it. So it's just not quite as creamy looking. It will build up to creamy just fine, but on that first coat it's a little more sheer. And good formula on this one as well. So this one does cover completely in 2 coats. You can see it has like a very creamy look to it after it's built up a bit. And this one also dries very shiny. I know I say this in every video. I recommend top coat anyway, but it does dry shiny. So that is 2 coats of Foster. The next polish is called Briar, and Zoya describes this as a red-toned terracotta cream. So this one also covers really well on that first coat. A little bit sheer. I can see a little bit of nail line, but mainly just the color looks sheer. It doesn't quite look as deep as it should. And good formula on this one as well. So this one does cover completely on 2 coats. And that second coat does deepen the color a bit. That was too much polish. The second coat does deepen the color. And this one also dries shiny. Am I the only one that does that? Where I don't lift the brush far enough above my nail before I try to go back and end up jamming the end of my finger, because I do that all the time. So that is 2 coats of Briar. So the next polish is called Margaret, and Zoya describes this as a well-balanced, vivid auburn red cream. I would have just called it red, which is why I read the descriptions. So this is wildly opaque on that first coat. I'm going to do 2 anyway. I can still see a couple of light spots just on this nail. I know a lot of people just like can't bring themselves to do 1 coat where they always do 2, even if it's more opaque. And I'm not there yet, but I do feel like I'm slowly getting there. So this also has a fantastic formula. So this one does cover completely in 2 coats. After that first coat fully dried, I had some nail line don't know if you can pick it up on camera, but it was a little bit more obvious. So definitely a 2-coater here. I'm not a big fan of red on my nails personally. I just don't like it on my own hands, but I can recognize a pretty good red when I see one, and this is a really good red. So that is 2 coats of Margaret. The next polish is called Mikayla, and this is described as a dusty purple taupe cream. So this one also covers pretty well on that first coat, a little bit sheer in spots, and good formula on this one as well. There are a lot of fuzzies on this one. I'm getting a lot of fuzz out of. I don't think it's the polish. I think it's the wide brush that I added later. I think it had some fuzz on it. So this one does cover completely in 2 coats. You can see that second coat does deepen the color a bit as well. And again, it does dry shiny. So that is 2 coats of Mikayla. Okay, the next polish is called Ripley. So Zoya describes this as a rich boysenberry cream. So this one is also just a little bit jelly-like, where it's a little bit sheer on that first coat. And good formula on this one as well. These have all been really, really good formula-wise, so other than the color, I'm kind of running out of things to say. So this one does cover completely in 2 coats, and also deepens that color, and also dries shiny. So that is 2 coats of Ripley. The next polish is called Vesper, and Zoya describes this as a deep antique gray violet cream. So this one covers pretty well on that first coat. Again, a little bit uneven. There are some lighter spots. The formula on this one feels just slightly thinner than all of the other ones have so far. Not too thin by any means, just noticeably different. So this one does cover completely in 2 coats. This one I also feel like dries just a little bit darker than it applies, and also dries shiny. So that is 2 coats of Vesper. The next polish is called Elliot, and this is described as a blackened peacock blue cream. And this one is also a little bit jelly-ish on that first coat. I really should be doing this polish last because the skin, like the drier skin around my nails, is probably going to be stained blue when I take this off. And good formula on this one. I should clarify, I didn't have any staining with this polish when I wore it for my swatch pictures. I'm not expecting the actual pigment in the polish to stain my nails, just the dry skin to kind of grab onto it a little bit more. That's why I tend to do like the darker blues and stuff at the end of videos. So this one does cover completely on that second coat. It's actually looking pretty true to color in the viewfinder right now. I won't know for sure until I get it on the computer, but I'm fairly impressed because I feel like any kind of blue or slightly green leaning blue never shows up properly. So that is 2 coats of Elliot. So the next polish is called Rashida, and this is described as a dazzling ruby red. That's worded a little weird. So a dazzling ruby red with red micro pearl shimmer. It says with a shimmer of red micro pearl, which sounds kind of weird to me. So here is the first coat, a little bit sheer. I can see some nail line, but not terrible. That shimmer is very bright, that red shimmer, and it doesn't look like it's the kind of shimmer that's going to have any brush strokes or any like visible flaws. Good formula on this one. Glowing, that's the word I was looking for. It's not a bright shimmer, it's a glowing shimmer. Okay, so let's fix this way too thin of a coat on my pointer finger. This does cover completely in 2 coats. Very, very glowy shimmer. This reminds me of another polish, and I cannot for the life of me think of which one it is right now. I think it's a China Glaze from a holiday collection, but that's as far as I could remember. Oh no, it was a red, the red from the Cirque du Soleil collection from a really long time ago. That had a really bright, glowy shimmer like this. This is a slightly darker version of that, but it has that same like really glowing standout shimmer. So that is 2 coats of Rashidah. So the next polish is called Etta, and Zoya describes this as a vampy Cabernet with a hint of violet micro pearl. I think that means shimmer. So this one is also a little bit sheer on that first coat, not terrible. If I look very, very closely, I can see a little bit of brush stroke through that shimmer, but it's not anything to be concerned about. I have to really look for it, and it's wet, so it'll be fine when it's dry. I had too little polish on this nail, and then I tried to fix that, and now I have too much. And good formula on this one as well. So this one does cover completely in 2 coats and deepens quite a bit. Those very minor brush strokes that were there when it's wet did completely smooth out as it dried. And this one does dry slightly dull. So that is 2 coats of Etta. And the last polish is called Ashton, and this is described as a black tourmaline with scattered silver effect. And since this is the last polish, my battery is almost guaranteed to die before I get this swatch done. So this is pretty sheer. It's not terribly sheer, but just sheer compared to the other ones. It looks like a black jelly base with super fine silver shimmer. It's not going to feel like a glitter or be gritty at all. And good formula on this one as well. So this one, I really want it to be completely opaque in 2 coats because I'm 3 videos in for the day and all of the other polishes have been 2 coats and I just really want to be done. But I think I am going to put a 3rd coat on. I'm being very, very picky there. I'm not sure if it's even anything that you can pick up on camera, but I do have, as predicted, my camera died. Doesn't matter how many coats or how big the collection is, it dies on the last polish every time. So like I was saying, I'm going to do a 3rd coat. I do have some very minor spots where I can just see a little bit of my skin tone kind of peeking through. That's me being really, really picky, but I do want it to cover all the way. So this one does cover completely in 3 coats. There were only a few spots that I really needed this 3rd coat. So I think depending on your application, you can probably get away with 2. And this doesn't dry gritty or textured at all because it's a really fine shimmer that's in there. So that is 3 coats of Ashton. So I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. None of these really jumped out to me. Hold on, let me grab something. Okay, so I wasn't like super duper excited about any of these at first glance. Now, this is the box that the collection came in, and I saw this super macro of Ashton, which was the like shimmery kind of gunmetal one, and I got super excited because I didn't realize like how macro this photo actually was, and it wasn't quite the same. And then there were these little inserts in it which were a little less macro, but also made the shimmers and stuff look like they were a little bit more glittery than they were. So that might be where some of my reaction stems, just from like the come down of my initial like thinking there was a lot of glitter. But for picking a favorite, I will say it is Joss because I like these kind of dustier nude pink shades, and this is a decent one for my skin tone. So Joss is my favorite. Just to be fair, formula wise, these were all really good. I think I go through so much polish that it takes a lot for something to stand out to me these days. So that is the Zoya Sensual collection for fall 2019. Again, I will link the Zoya website down below. Hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I will talk to you later. Bye.